man.
Oliver Davis got a phone call.
He said that the chief has been fired. And I said, I'm not aware of that. And he says, yes, the chief has been fired.
South Bend Police Chief Daryl Boykins, the city's first black police chief.
So I called Mayor Buttigieg, and I said, I'm getting word that the chief has been fired. And he said, well, I guess the cat's out the bag. That was his exact words.
Did he give you a reason why he was firing Chief Boykins?
He never gave me a reason personally.
Buttigieg claimed he lost trust in the chief. More on that later. But it was discovered the central issue was the existence of cassette tapes, copies made of phone line 6031 at the South Bend Police Station.
It became talk at the barbershops and in churches and in places what's on these tapes. Because you have to consider in 2012, there was a lot of challenges between police and local communities all over the country.
More than 20% of South Bend's population is black, according to censusreporter.org. And Oliver says at the time, with the Trayvon Martin killing fresh on everyone's minds, he felt suspicious of the entire situation.
Since there was such an uproar about the chief being fired, since he was the first African-American chief, and it's even more than that, he was just a good chief.
There's tapes with some racist discussion language on it that high-ranking police officials were having. They were caught on tape. And so it's more than tapes now. It's conversation now about racial divisiveness within our judicial legal system.
Henry Davis Jr. was also on the South Bend Common Council at the time and tells me the truth was as unclear then as it is now.
No, it's more of a rumor mill, a gossiping situation, rather than something that's clear, factual, right?
March of 2012, Boykins was out.
No, like 1997, my sister graduated high school and got a job at Cooper Tire in Auburn, Indiana. She became an undercover cop on her own time and put my phone number, some of her contacts, in her fax machine at work. And I've been hearing schizophrenic voices ever since. And her and my mom did it on purpose because they knew it would, for their own financial and humiliation gain of me, get off on it and think it was funny that I'd be schizophrenic. And they refused to admit that they have it in her fax machine and my mother's fax machine on her KDZ ham operated. And the police have to all dial up, not dial up, what's it called? The router and the dial up from when they invented the internet, but it was before that in the 1950s, fat bottom girls and Kennedy cut hair. And that's why that one guy said we have one consensual act in Indiana. It means schizophrenically, you're privately visual and audio fucking filming me and fuck with me. This might have happened in the 70s, but it ain't happening now. We have fucking electricity and 911.
There's tapes with some racist discussion language on it that high-ranking police officials were having. They were caught on tape. And so it's more than tapes now. It's conversation now about racial divisiveness within our judicial legal system.
Henry Davis Jr. was also on the South Bend Common Council at the time and tells me the truth was as unclear then as it is now.
No, it's more of a rumor mill, a gossiping situation, rather than something that's clear, factual, right?
March of 2012, Boykins was out. Discovered the central issue was the existence of cassette tapes, copies made of phone line 6031 at the South Bend Police Station.
It became talk at
5 when the officer with line 6031 asks for it to be recorded to monitor.
It's still recording. It's like the fuzz or the static in the dial-up modem router from the computer. And my mom and my sister have the schizophrenic audio pumped through it so it never shuts off. And the moral is that she's an undercover cop, and her and my mom know it, and they know it'll hurt my head. Schizophrenically audio, and it just keeps replaying because she's an undercover cop, supposedly. Leonardo DiCaprio departed a movie, Undercover Cops, and something like that movie, because they knew it too in the 50s. Queen, Fat Bottom Girls, and Kennedy cut hair. It just keeps playing and playing, and my schizophrenic head hurts. But when they raised me as a kid, and my mother and my sister was my sibling, they knew they were going to do it and don't give a fuck for their own financial humiliation game of me dying in the streets, and Katie's a fucking retard millionaire retard, a marquee sucker fucking weirdo berg.
Apparently forgotten about, line 6031 is still recording. Fast forward to 2010. Officer Brian Young is promoted and takes the office with line 6031, supposedly unaware his line is recording. In late 2010 through early 2011, DePape troubleshoots issues of the department's phone recording system. That's when she recognizes Captain Young's voice on line 6031. In her wrongful termination lawsuit, she says she heard high-ranking officers, quote, describing conduct that DePape felt was possibly illegal or at least unethical. She also claims she heard racial slurs. Here she is again in a 2012 interview with ABC 57.
I knew that I would be persecuted if I even brought this forth. And so I struggled with it. You know, do I keep my mouth shut and just let it go? And I just felt that many individuals would be affected if I did it.
DePape reported what she heard to Chief Boykins, who then directed her to make copies of some of those conversations. But Mayor Pete Buttigieg fires DePape the same time he demotes Boykins. The city ultimately settles DePape's lawsuit, paying her $200.
State, nobody consented to the recording of this line.
They have a different version of events. They allege in their initial lawsuit, Boykins instructed DePape to tap the line of Division Chief Steve Richmond in early 2010. DePape disputes that claim in her lawsuit, saying Boykins never made changes to the recording system. Now, in their latest trial brief, the interveners
are almost dead.
To give his resignation, his words to me